So let's say that I am in the marketing department and I have access to a document, which would be a very important one, which would be top lead sources by month and cost 2018. So imagine I had a spreadsheet that has all the information, what lead sources generate the most leads, how much they cost. That would be really handy information. Now, I could use that at my next job. I could use that at a competitor. I could use that to start my own company. But I'm thinking, because my company, from what I can tell, doesn't track anything I do with files, all they do is secure the marketing folder, which I have access to. I'm going to take data that I like and take it with me outside the company. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this file, and I'm going to just bring it over to my USB drive, copy here. Wait a second, what's this? Copy work protected content. You're trying to copy work protected content to a removable drive. Here are my options. What's this? Copy is personal. Your organization may track the change. Ooh, I don't like that. And many others may be able to view the content. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this. This doesn't look good for me. And that's what this video is about. Controlling the accidental or intentional copying of company files outside the company with a Windows 10 PC to a personal USB drive, personal file sync app like Google Drive or Dropbox, or your own personal OneDrive account, or a web app like Gmail, Outlook.com with Microsoft 365 Enterprise technologies. So this is ultimately the story about Microsoft Intune app protection policies. And we have these policies available to us for personal mobile devices like iOS and Android devices, but we also have it available to us for Windows 10. And so this video is going to be about dealing with that issue, which is moving company work files from Windows 10 computers outside of the company. So I'm going to be talking about why you might consider using this technology. I'm going to show you some cool demos real time in our system. I'm going to be talking about why I'm removing it for now, and why I'm just using Azure Information Protection and Security labels with the default labeling policy. So it's cool technology. I think you're really going to want to see this, and you might be able to apply this some way in your company. But again, I'll show you the big but at the end of this. So we have put it in our company. We have used it. I see what works, what doesn't. And before I removed it from our system, I wanted to make this video so you can see the technology firsthand and how it's working. This is not a how-to video. This is a guidance video. I don't have a course I'm putting here. And if it's something you want to work with, you can go ahead and do some training and start playing around with it, or talk to your IT company. Or if you want to talk to us, I'll have information how you can contact us at the end of this video. So let's talk about why you might care about Intune app protection policies. Now, you think about all of the data that you have in your file server and how it's currently protected on a traditional Windows server network. And you think about that data, which is typically on a file server, and you have a VPN connection to it, and we have a secured folder, which is protected with the security group. But once somebody has access to that folder, nobody's tracking what's going on with that data. That data is not protected once it comes out of that folder. And if somebody were relocating that data, saving it, accidentally or intentionally, nobody would ever know. And that's the way 99% of file server systems are set up. And let's think about the data that we're dealing with in there. Customer profitability reports, that's a big one. Sales funnel reports, sales and marketing content, putting that kind of stuff together takes a lot of time and a lot of expense. That kind of content right there, when the company is paying an employee to do it, or they're paying an outside company to put that kind of content together, those documents quickly can become thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars in cost. And if somebody can just steal that and then just take that with them, well, that's not fair and it's not right. So we should have some sort of visibility and control on that. And if you think about the other way that files can leave an organization, which is email, think about that for a second. It is tracked. When I send an email, and I send an email to my personal account with company data, I might want to think of twice about that, because that's going to go into sent items. It's going to be tracked. And if you have retention policies properly set up inside of your system, even if I go and try to purge all my tracks, clear all my tracks of sending this stuff out, the company still has all of this activity held in a retention policy. So if we could take those concepts around how we track data coming and going outside of the company from email, we could also apply tracking mechanisms to make people think twice about files, again, that's what this video is about. So continuing on, how about sales and marketing performance metrics? If somebody has access to a spreadsheet that shows, well, here's all the ways we got leads, here's what we spent, here's how much we spent per source, per lead, that would be very helpful information to a competitor. How about company profitability reports? There's one you don't even want to accidentally relocate into the wrong place. How about proprietary formulas? We have clients that manufacture things and they have mixing formulas inside of spreadsheets that they've built over decades. That needs to be protected. Proprietary processes, employment documents with salary information, client contracts with rate and pricing information, and vendor contracts. These are all really important documents, and right now for most systems out there, that stuff, once somebody has access to the folder, it can be put anywhere. And all on top of that, even if they don't have bad intentions, what's to stop them from accidentally putting it in the wrong place? And then if somebody gets a hold of a document that was accidentally put in the wrong place and has all this juicy information, are they going to let you know necessarily? Maybe not. So what if we can put in some kind of control, some sort of visibility to manage this? So most traditional file servers protect access to a shared folder, but there's no way to control or track the copy-paste actions moving that data outside the company like you can if somebody emails a file outside the company. So this technology, using app protection policies and the technology below it, Windows Information Protection, it makes people think twice about where they are moving work files or copy-pasting data inside those files. Windows Information Protection knows what are work files and what are personal files. And it only works with Enlighten apps to understand what a work file is. And it alerts the users that their actions will be logged if moving a work file or data to a file outside of the work storage areas. So if it's unintentional, they might go, oh shoot, I didn't even realize I was doing that. Or if it is intentional and they want to steal the data, they go, well, okay, I might be creating legal problems for myself if somebody wants to be able to track this. It's just a reminder that the system is aware. And it's also important to know that you could outright block the movement of file data as well. So I'm going to show you where those settings are, but here in our system, the way we have it set up, it just prompts people to let them know, okay, this will be tracked. But you could also set it up so that it could just block. So you could have certain types of data where it's outright blocked. It has to stay inside the company. And you could have also certain types of data where it just says, look, we're just going to go ahead and log it, but you're free to make that change if you want, as far as moving it from a work protected file to a personal file. Okay, now we're going to get into the demos. So the first thing I'm going to show is what this protection actually looks like. So I'm going to show you my files and I'm going to show you the little briefcase glyph that Windows Information Protection applies to work files. And I'm also going to show you where it shows the ownership status of the file. So I'm going to show you that right now. What you can see here is I've got several things here where I store files. I got my personal OneDrive account, completely separate from my company, totally different account, email account altogether. I have my business OneDrive account. These are my personal business files that just I work with. I'm not collaborating with anybody on it. And then I have my shared company secured folders. So here they are, accounting, finance, HR, legal, marketing, sales. And then I've got this USB drive sitting on my computer as well. So here, if I go ahead and I make this a little bigger, you'll see that on these files inside the marketing folder, I've got these little briefcase glyphs on the icons. This indicates that these are work files. They are not personal files. So if I go over and click on my personal OneDrive account, I don't have these briefcase icons showing up anywhere. But if I click on my OneDrive account, there's briefcase icons everywhere. And I click on any of the folders inside of the marketing folder, they're all briefcase icons. And I'm going to show you that the file ownership shows Cerulean.com. You see that right here? File ownership is indicated right there. And if I go into personal, file ownership over here, it's showing nothing. So that's ultimately what it looks like. The system knows that my personal OneDrive file and my Teams files, which are synchronized over here, these are all company files and they're synced locally on my computer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple demos. I'm going to copy a work file to a USB drive. I'm going to slow it down a little bit from the intro that I did at the beginning of this video. I'm going to copy a work file to a personal OneDrive account. I'm going to copy a work file and the content in the file to our personal email web app. So I'm going to show you what it looks like if I try to log into my personal email account at Outlook.com, but same things apply to Gmail or iCloud or wherever you have your personal email. I'm going to try to attach the file, see what that looks like, and I'm also going to do a copy and paste of the data inside the file to try to get around that and then see what that looks like as well. And then we'll come back to this in just a moment. So here we go. I've expanded these icons a little bit. Again, you can see that they have the briefcase glyph in there. So all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this document, Top Lead Sources by Month and Cost 2018, in the marketing folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this over to this USB drive. Okay. And there is Microsoft Intune, App Protection Policies, and Windows Information Protection in action. And it says, copy work protected content. You're trying to copy work protected content to a removable drive. And my options are this. Copy is personal. Your organization may track the change, and others may be able to view the content. Or the other option is to copy as work protected. Your organization only allows work protected content to be opened on this PC. So my options here, if I want, I can remove the work protected file protection on this, but it's actually going to be logged inside the system. So the system will know that I went and made that change. So I'm probably not going to do that. And in the case of the USB drive, I have the option to go ahead and move it, but it's actually going to keep that briefcase icon over there. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this, and I'm not going to do either one. So now let's try the next thing, which is I'm going to try to take this file, this work file, and I'm going to drag it into my personal OneDrive account. Let's see what happens. Here we go. One interrupted action. You can't place work protected content in this location. To continue, the content must be changed from work protected to personal. Your organization may track this change, and people outside your organization may be able to view the content. And there is all the tracking information right there. So in this case, unlike the USB drive, where I was able to take the file and still keep the work protected status on the file, but move it to my personal USB drive, in the case of moving it over into my personal OneDrive account, I was only able to remove the work protected status, but it was also going to log that. All right, I'm going to cancel out of this. Now the next thing I'm going to show is I'm going to go ahead and log into my personal Outlook.com email account, and let's see if I can copy that file outside of the organization that way. Okay, now I'm in my personal Outlook.com email address. Some of this is going to be blurred out just for confidentiality's sake, but it is my real account. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and see if I can just go ahead and I'm going to email myself in this case, and I'm going to attach this file and see if I can move it out that way. Grab this file, open, use work content here. Your organization may track the action. Are you sure you want to continue? Okay, not allowing it. So then next thing I'm going to try is what I'm going to try to do is just open the file and copy and paste the content. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And here it is. Here's all the hot leads. And I'm going to go ahead and copy. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go ahead and paste it. And it says your organization doesn't allow you to use work content with this application. So really powerful technology. If you think about it a little bit, it's really going to make people think. And will it stop anybody who wants to do this no matter what? No. But is it going to slow them down and make them think twice and potentially think, well, it seems like they're going to be able to track everything I'm doing here. Maybe this just isn't worth it. One of the things you can certainly do is you can sit here and take a picture right on the screen. But if you want to get volumes and volumes of information, you're not going to sit here and take picture after picture after picture. That's going to become very, very tedious. But it is going to make people think twice about what they're doing. And right now, it is leagues better than what 99% of the systems out there have right now, which is nothing. Again, it's a secured folder. Once that data is outside the folder, anything goes. Nothing's tracked. So what I went and did there was show that the system knew what work files were versus personal files, and I tried to copy work files outside of the company. Now let's take work files and move them. We're going to relocate them, but we're still going to stay inside the company. Let's see what happens. So let's say now that I want to take this file that's in the marketing folder, and I just want to work with it in my OneDrive, my business OneDrive account. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. Again, it's got the little briefcase glyph. I'm going to take it. I'm going to drop it over here, and let's see what happens. No problem. No problem at all. So that file is in there, and I didn't get prompted or anything like that. And so it knows that I am in a work account and allowed that. There were no restrictions. That's fine. Now let's go ahead and let's just move this onto my desktop. So I click on this PC. I'm going to take this file, move it onto my desktop, see if it allows that. No problem, no interruption. So that file now is on my desktop right here. And so it's really cool technology. When it saw that I was moving the work files outside of the company, it prompted. Now again, I could have blocked if I wanted to, but it prompted. When it saw that I was moving the files around, but I was doing it inside of the company, no problem at all. And there's something I also want to show you that's really important. What I was showing you here was, here's my personal OneDrive account. Again, no briefcase icons, no file ownership with the company. It's my personal files. Windows Information Protection doesn't do anything with that. But here in my business OneDrive account, file ownership is Aurelian.com. I have the briefcase icons. And here in our Teams files, all the stuff we work with files these days is Aurelian. They're all in Teams files, and that would be a whole separate video. But all of these are synced using files on demand technology with OneDrive, and they look and feel like map drives, but here are all my secured folders. And the other thing that I want to show you is in Teams. So right here in Teams, you can see I also have the little briefcase icon right there as well. So here is our marketing folder with our marketing files and documents in it, but it also has the briefcase icon. So Teams also, like Windows File Explorer, is aware what are work documents and what are not. So now I want to show you where you would configure this in Microsoft Intune. Again, this isn't going to be a how-to, but it's going to show you, orient you, so you can see where you would actually start working with this if you want to get this set up. Now I'm in portal.azure.com, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on Intune. Then I'm going to go into Client Apps, and then I'm going to go to App Protection Policies, and here they are. Now we have them for Android, iOS, and Windows. So all the protections that I'm showing you for a Windows OS, Windows 10 OS, you can also do these with Android and iOS, and I would say the app protection, data protection capabilities are even more robust and more configurable, but that would be a separate video. Today we're just talking about Windows 10 PCs and how this app protection and Windows Information Protection policies work inside the system. So if I go in here, click on Windows, the settings, this is it right here. And I can tell you for iOS and Android, there are many more settings compared to Windows 10, but it still gets the job done. So right here, we have the required settings. We would assign people, we would assign what the protected apps are, but the required settings right here. Windows Information Protection mode, block, allows override, silent or off. So here, as I was mentioning before, you could choose to block the relocation of the data. And here, this allows override is how you get the prompts. This at least shows you the location inside Microsoft Intune where you would configure these options. And just for the record, we do use this for Android and iOS. So you have to have one of these operating systems to connect to our cloud services. And then while we don't manage the individual Android and iOS devices, people bring their own, they download our apps, and we just control the app and the data, the work data on the app, and that's it. We don't manage anything on an employee's personal mobile device. The device does have to report certain compliance settings to us to be allowed in, but that's it. Which is a nice way to handle people bringing their own devices that they're comfortable with, but the company then doesn't have to have an uncomfortable conversation about trying to put some sort of management applications on the personal mobile devices. And we don't do it here at Aurelian. Now I'm going to get to the WIP issue, the Windows Information Protection issue, and why I'm removing Windows Information Protection and app protection policies from our system. My most important files are digitally signed PDFs. So everything we do that is signed is through DocuSign. We don't print out files, sign them, and scan them back in. Everything's done through DocuSign. So if I look at the files that I actually really want to secure are PDF files. That's super, super important. And I need to use Azure Information Protection to protect those files. So I've got this PDF file, and this PDF file has a briefcase. And so this is a work file. And so I just named it. I mean, this is just some miscellaneous file, but I named it the company payroll report 2019. Okay, great. That's something I certainly would want to secure. So I can secure that using Azure Information Protection, and that's where I'm putting the security group essentially inside the document, as opposed to having the security group just protect a folder. It's very, very powerful technology, and I have another video here in YouTube about it. So what I want to do is I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go classify and protect, and it says you do not have permission to label this file. Ooh, that's a problem. That is a huge problem. I need to be able to do that. Now I'm going to show you what happens if I remove the work protection status. I'm going to go take this, I'm going to drop it to my USB drive, I'm going to go and copy here, and I'm going to copy as personal, so it's logging that event, and it's also removing the work file status from this file. Okay, great. Company payroll report. Now I can go ahead and right click on this and go to classify and protect. And now I can go ahead and put my security label right on this document. I can click over here and I can go ahead and put into legal if I want. So that is really important, and we use that a lot. Well, this is a problem because Adobe, the Windows desktop version, doesn't know how to work with work protected files. The mobile versions do, but the desktop version does not. In an ideal world, I would like to have the Windows Information Protection, the WIP security system, and the Intune app protection policies working together along with Azure Information Protection. Windows Information Protection, what it's doing is saying, okay, well, I know this is a work file and I know this is not a work file and I know where these should be, but it's not protecting the individual document. So if the document should be secured to just the HR group or the legal group or the sales group or the marketing group, Windows Information Protection isn't going to help me there. I need Azure Information Protection for that. And because specifically with Adobe Documents, I can't work with them both, that's ultimately the problem. I'm sure Microsoft is working on that. And this still might work for you in some of your implementations where you want to start setting these things up, especially for stuff that's really secure and it's not necessarily PDF files, although I'm sure you have lots of PDF files. And another limitation is that I have to open up PDF files with an Edge browser, not Adobe Acrobat. Again, because Adobe Acrobat, the desktop version, cannot work with work protected files. So I'll show you what I mean here. If I click on this, it's going to prompt me. It's going to say Adobe Acrobat Reader DC only opens personal files only, not work files. So I actually have to go click on Edge, the Edge browser, to be able to open the document. So the solution we ultimately are settling on is just using Azure Information Protection and not using work files. And so that's Azure Information Protection security labels, with a default label being Xerillion, which means only employees would have access to this document. Now, the security can be changed. Security can be changed to a security group, legal, HR, finance, sales, and the security can be removed. It can be downgraded, but a justification must be provided, which will be logged inside the system. If Microsoft eventually makes that adjustment where work files are supported by Adobe Acrobat on a Windows computer, then we will probably turn this back on again. So I hope you found this informative and you can see real world what actually goes on with these technologies. It's really, really cool stuff. And I'm going to have a link to the Azure Information Protection video. And also, if you want to contact us to talk to us a little further, you can call us at 847-995-9800 or email support@xerillion.com. And you can talk to our team. And if the conversation gets more in depth or you want to speak to me as well about the technology, happy to get on the call as well. Thanks for watching.